Hello everyone, today we will be presenting our usability analysis of the Canvas Learning Management System. The purpose of our project was to evaluate how easy it is for students to complete common academic tasks using Canvas and identify areas where the interface could be improved. Here's a quick overview of today's presentation. We'll begin by introducing the project and explaining its purpose. Then we will discuss our participants and the methodology we used. After that, we'll go over the results for each of the 5 usability tasks, summarize the overall satisfaction of participants, discuss our recommendations, and finish with our conclusion. The goal of the study was to evaluate the usability of Canvas LMS, which is learning management systems used by many colleges and universities. We created 5 common academic tasks that students perform regularly, such as accessing course modules, viewing assignments, reading announcements, checking grades, and finding important course resources. 5 participants completed each task while we observed their actions and recorded how difficult each task was. Afterward, participants completed an exit questionnaire that allowed us to gather feedback about their overall experience. We then analyzed all of the collected data to identify both strengths and possible improvements. Our research focused on 5 specific objectives. First, we wanted to determine how easily students could locate course modules. Second, we evaluated how simple it was to view assignments and due dates. Third, we looked at how participants found course announcements. Fourth, we observed how they checked grades. And finally, we evaluated how easily students could locate important course information and resources such as the syllabus. These are tasks that students perform frequently, so they provide a good way to evaluate the usability of Canvas. We had 5 participants complete the usability study. 3 participants primarily used a mobile device, while 2 completed the task using a laptop. They had between 1 and 4 years of experience using Canvas, and every participant had previously taken at least one online course. The pie chart shows that most participants completed the study using a mobile device, which reflects how many students access Canvas today. Our usability study follows several steps. Participants first completed an entrance questionnaire to collect demographic information and their previous experience with Canvas. Next, they completed 5 scenario-based tasks while researchers observed their behavior and recorded any navigation issues. Participants also rated the difficulty of each task on a scale from 1 to 5. Finally, they completed an exit questionnaire where they shared their opinions and suggestions. The data was organized and analyzed using Microsoft Excel. The first task asked participants to locate the current week's course module. Every participant successfully completed this task. 4 participants found the module immediately, while 1 participant briefly searched before selecting the modules page. The average difficulty rating for this task was 1.8 out of 5, showing that participants generally found it easy. Overall, accessing course modules was not a significant usability issue. The second task required participants to locate upcoming assignments and their due dates. Again, every participant completed the task successfully. However, 2 participants first checked the calendar before opening the assignments page. Several participants also suggested that assignment due dates should be displayed more prominently to make them easier to notice. The average difficulty rating was 1.6, indicating this task was also fairly easy. For the third task, participants needed to locate the most recent course announcement. All participants successfully found the announcements page. 1 participant initially overlooked the newest announcement before locating it. Several participants suggested highlighting new announcements with a new label or colored indicator so they would stand out more. This task had an average difficulty rating of 1.4, making it one of the easiest tasks. The fourth task involved checking whether an assignment had been graded. Every participant located the grades page successfully. However, 2 participants mentioned that switching between assignments and grades required additional navigation. Even though everyone completed the task, participants felt the workflow could be simplified. The average difficulty rating was also 1.4. The fifth task asked participants to locate important course resources such as the syllabus. This turned out to be the most challenging task in the study. Although every participant eventually completed it, 3 participants spent additional time searching through different pages. Several participants suggested placing important resources together in one clearly labeled location. This task received the highest average difficulty rating at 2.2. This slide compares the average difficulty ratings across all 5 usability tasks so we could see which task participants found easiest and which ones required more effort. Reading announcements and checking grades were the easiest tasks, with both receiving an average difficulty rating of 1.4 out of 5. Most participants completed these tasks quickly without needing any assistance. Viewing assignments was slightly more difficult with an average rating of 1.6. While everyone completed the task successfully, most participants first checked the calendar before finding the assignments page, which suggested there are multiple ways to complete the same task. Accessing course modules received an average difficulty rating of 1.8. Most participants found the correct module immediately, but one participant spent a little extra time looking through the navigation menu before selecting modules. Finding course information and resources received the highest difficulty rating at 2.2, making it the most challenging task in our study. Participants had to search through different sections before finding the information they needed, which shows there is a room for improvement in organizing important course resources. Overall, the results show that Canvas performs well for everyday student activities, but locating important resources could be made much easier with a few design improvements. Overall, participants had very positive opinion of Canvas after completing all 5 tasks. The average satisfaction rating was 4.8 out of 5, which indicates that most participants were highly satisfied with the overall experience. Many participants described the interface as organized, familiar, and easy to navigate because they had already used Canvas in previous courses. Although participants generally liked the system, they still provided suggestions that could improve the user experience. Most of these suggestions focused on making important information easier to notice, such as assignment due dates, announcements, and course resources. Rather than recommending major changes to the design, participants felt that the small improvements to visibility and organization would make the system even easier to use for students. Our study identified several important findings from the usability testing. First, every participant successfully completed all 5 tasks, which shows that Canvas allows students to complete the most common academic activities without major problems. Second, the interface supports everyday student tasks effectively, especially when it comes to checking grades, reading announcements, and accessing assignments. Another important finding was that the reading announcements and checking grades required the least amount of effort, making them the easiest tasks in the study. However, finding course information and resources consistently required the most searching. Participants often looked through multiple pages before locating the syllabus or other important documents. This suggests that Canvas could benefit from grouping important course information into one clearly labeled location. Overall, our finding shows that the system is already effective, but small usability improvements could make navigation faster and reduce the amount of time students would have to do to search for these things. Based on the feedback we received from participants, our group developed several recommendations that could improve the Canvas user experience. The first recommendation is to make assignment due dates more noticeable by using larger text, brighter colors, or visual reminders. Since students rely on due dates every day, making them stand out could reduce missed assignments. Second recommendation is to highlight newly posted announcements with a new badge or colored background. This will make important updates easier to recognize without students needing to search through older announcements. We also recommended displaying recently graded assignments on the home page so students can immediately see when new grades are posted instead of navigating through several pages. Another recommendation is to create a clearly labeled Start Here section that contains important resources such as the syllabus, instructor information, and course policies in one convenient location. Finally, we recommend using more icons or color coding throughout the interface to help students quickly distinguish assignments, discussions, quizzes, and other course materials. These are relatively small design changes, but together they can improve navigation, reduce confusion, and make Canvas even more user-friendly. In conclusion, our usability study found that Canvas provides a positive and effective experience for students. All 5 participants successfully completed every task that was assigned, showing that the system supports the most common academic activities very well. The overall satisfaction rating of 4.8 out of 5 demonstrates that the participants were generally happy with the interface and found it easy to use. While the study did identify a few usability issues, They were relatively minor and most involved improving the visibility and organization of important information rather than redesigning the entire system. Our recommendations focus on making common tasks faster and reducing the amount of searching students have to do. Overall, we believe that Canvas is already a strong learning management system, and with a few small interface improvements, it could provide an even better experience for both current and future students. Thank you for listening, and we'd be happy to answer any questions.